Good morning. This is now Tuesday morning, and we are on the final leg of our trip down to Yuma, and it's our last time making a trip in the motorhome. Yay! I mean, not that we won't miss it, but what we're going to is going to be nice. Now, Bob's checking things out here. Everything working okay? So we had a nice stay here. As you will see, Michelle and I did a lot of shopping. So I've got like about four videos of our shopping escapades that you need to remember to watch as they come up. And Bob got the motorhome washed, so that made it rain come. It just poured Saturday night. Or Sunday night, right? Sunday night, what was it?
Sunday night, yeah.
Sunday night, yeah. So we were leaving Oasis RV Park in Las Vegas. And no, we didn't do any gambling. We're just not gamblers when it comes to slot machines and things. Other things, yeah. So, I'm going to turn you off, and I will come back on periodically to update you on the progress of our trip. Now, this is early for me, 7:30 in the morning for me to be up and ready to go. Woo! You know. Total shock. But we're really anxious to get down there to our house. So I'll be back. And I'm back. Well, we were on 93 when we went through, Henderson and left Vegas. And we are now on 95, which we will be on until we get to Yuma. We get off of 95 right into Yuma. So the drive is pretty through here, but you can see the mountains. I'll make it closer here. You're looking through the screen right now. And over there are a lot of solar panels. Big solar farm. Over here. To the right. Time's going to really go slow because we're so anxious to get down there and get settled. So I will come back on when we get to the town of Searchlight, where I'll tell you stories about Searchlight. And we are back. We are going through beautiful downtown Searchlight, Nevada. Now, the story behind this is the speed limit while we were coming down, behind us, was about 75 or so, which we don't go. See that sign there? It slows down to 25. Oop, that guy's going to get it. 25 through this little town of Searchlight. And all there are is, a couple of little restaurants, not even a couple of little restaurants. There's a McDonald's and the other one we just passed. But when they say 25, they mean it. And this is known as a speed trap. So it's not uncommon to see people pull over because it's probably the only income they get for this town is by pulling people over for going over 25. So I'll keep this on through the whole town. Don't fall asleep during it. See, there's a general merchandise store over there. Then here comes the McDonald's. It's a Gus Jerky. So this is the McDonald's. And sometimes, boy, when you go in there on a busy day, that parking lot, you can hardly find a place to park. Gas there is $5.39. And that's it. We're through it. Now we're speeding back up to 35. And while we're going slower, and you can probably hear me a little better over the ocean roar, the motorhome noise. want to apologize for day 3's video because I was doing it late last night, and once I put all my footage together, it was over an hour long, and I thought, I wouldn't want to sit and watch me for over an hour. So I just went in and cut out a bunch of footage. Now, I don't know if I was in the middle of talking with some of it that I cut out, but if so, just excuse it, pretend like you didn't hear it. But what I'm really anxious for you to see are the videos that Michelle and I did together. You may get a kick out of some of that because we get laughing in those videos. And here we are coming down speed limit 75. Coming back to the freeway, whatever you want to call it. Of course, we're still got the same mountains around us. So I'll be back on if anything comes up. For those of you who are wondering, where is Laughlin, Nevada? Well, the exit's coming up. It's Highway 163, and you cut over here to my left, which is heading east. And you can go over to Laughlin, Nevada, which is kind of a cute, smaller, casino area. And hi, Debbie, if you happen to be watching this. One of our people we subscribe to who subscribes to us is Debbie, and she just moved to Laughlin area. So that's where you turn, right there. Well, we just crossed over the leaving Nevada, going into California line. So for a while, we are actually driving in the state of California, way over to the east. So you'll notice the road's different. It's a little bumpier. We're down to one lane each direction. Otherwise, that's it. I don't feel anything else different. Some of you may be wondering, what do they do when she's not recording? Well, we have radio going. I think I mentioned in one of my other videos. We have playlists on our iPhones, and one day I get to play my music. Next day, Bob, his music, and so on. But today we have it on Pandora through Bob's. And I knew you were all wondering. We're going to come over the horizon here. Here we go. What's on the other side? Oh, the same. Kelly is back in her cupboard here, right behind me. She's acted so different than when we made the trip back home last spring. We couldn't keep her off the windowsill there. But we won't be stopping for gas or anything, so she probably won't make an appearance this whole time, huh, honey? Oh, anyway, I'll get off for a little bit. Well, we have been on the road about 2 hours now, and we are on Interstate 40 coming up to Needles, California. We're heading east. Now, Needles is a very expensive place to stop and eat at or anything, so, if you can possibly avoid having to stop here, I'd suggest it. It's not really a great a town to write home about anyway. I guess people who live here like it. So we're going to be on here for a short while, and then we're going to be getting back on 95. See, there's a KOA here, a couple of two camping places. It's a little hazy out today. What you think, honey? A little hazy? Well, it gets very hot here in the summer. Of course, it gets hot where we're going, too. In other words, I wouldn't plan your vacation around going to Needles, California. starting to see the choo-choo trains again. That's what we see a lot when we're in Arizona, or not Arizona, but in Yuma. Very long trains. We have about, 3 hours to go, right, honey? Oh, yeah, about 3 hours. Of course, we can't wait to get there because it's taking so long. Another exit here for Laughlin and Bullhead City. Now, Laughlin and Bullhead City are just across the river from each other. I don't know if you caught one of the signs we passed, but it said the next exit is Route 66. Now, when we were growing up, you remember, honey, there was a program called Route 66. And wanted to have George Maharis and, I don't know, somebody else. Can't think of who. So we're going to be getting off here in 3 miles, and we'll be back on the US 95 for the rest of the way. Remember, a few years back, Bob and I were heading up to Vegas or somewhere, maybe Laughlin, I don't know. And we stopped at a McDonald's here in town, and we went in and ordered a couple of hamburgers, and they were so expensive. We don't forget it. We walked out. Back then, they were, 7 something each, right? For like a Big Mac, or now they're probably just about that anyway. But back then, it was like, whoa. So we went over across the street to, I think it was like a Jack in the Box, and we ended up spending just about as much in that place for what they had. And there's the infamous McDonald's I was talking about. We're coming up to 95. And that highway will be more of the same. See, there's a sign there for Lake Havasu City. And then you can take an exit off of 95 to head over to Havasu. First year we came down here to Arizona for the winter, we stayed a month in Havasu because we didn't know where we wanted to stay at. It was a month in Havasu and a month in Yuma. Havasu is just too crowded. And of course, when you're down there in the winter, you hit spring break for several months. So it wasn't quite the right town for us. So we are actually getting off on State Historic Route 66 also. Several names. And one thing I did mention is when we got into California, make sure you, if you're towing something, your truck, semi-truck, or like us towing a car, speed limit for us is 55. And that seems so slow because everybody else is going a lot faster. Oh, he's turning right. That was a weird way to turn. Mary to my right. Doesn't look very crowded. Okay, the next services out of Needles are 49 miles. So if you're coming through here and your gas is getting low, I suggest you buy some gas there. Now I think that this part of the road, the journey down to Yuma, is probably the prettiest part because we're actually going through the mountains a little bit. It gets a little harder to hear me because as we're reclining and going back down, shifting going on. We've always had a motor home of some sort since we've been married, and we always made sure we used it. If we're putting out that much money, make sure you're going to use that thing. When we were working, we went out every weekend in the summers. I would book campgrounds, 9 months ahead when we first opened the reservation system. And every weekend we'd get home from work and off we'd go. Here's another pretty section of rocks, mountains, whatever you want to call them. As soon as we get through this section, then we'll be back on flat land again. With all of its flatness and Arizona being so much desert, it is very pretty. Well, we are coming into the town of Parker, Nevada. So we are back in Nevada. We took a little, what?
Arizona.
Oh, where's my head? Let me start over. And we are back. Well, we are completing the last leg of how I think of it in my head of the trip. We were on California 62 for a short while, and now we have turned back on to 95, going into the little town of Parker, Arizona. And Parker is kind of known for, you can see the water there, like a recreation kind of area too. So a lot of snowbirds come down to Parker. There's a lot of RVing parks and a golf course. A cute little town. It's a town you come to if you were heading east before you would get to Lake Havasu. So I'll keep you on while we go through here. Entering Parker, elevation 417. Can you feel my ears popping? Not. Isn't it exciting? We're really getting excited because we know we're in the last stretch of the big driving. Okay, the gas there is 455.9. It's a marathon station. We'll see what it is in the next couple of stations that we go by. There's the El Rancho Motel and the Crossroads Cafe. That cafe we've eaten at several times. It's a good little place to stop. It's kind of like a mom and pop, restaurant. Now up here, you see the highway sign is 95 north and 95 south. And going north, you would go up to Lake Havasu, where we're heading down to Quartzsite. Oh, looks like the gas is high here too. Geez. Usually it's a lot lower than California. Oh, I'm glad we're not filling up this motorhome anymore. You spend between $200 and $300 just to fill up a tank.
It's been between $300 and $350.
Wow. Bob says this trip's been between $300 and $350 to fill it up. And we usually stop, at least 4 times? Right?
Well, we leave with a full tank and then we stop.
Yeah, and then usually when we come in,
Fill up 3 more times.
when we come into town, we always fill up once again, so that when we go to leave in the spring, we're already full. But we won't be doing that this time. See, there's Shell Station 453.9. My goodness. There is a cute little train car. This is Town of Parker. Yeah, we're kind of on the outskirts road for the town. If we'd made left there, and left to go towards Havasu, then we would have seen more of the little town. But at least now that there's 2 lanes each way. Just pulled over for a minute, and all of a sudden I hear, meow, and it's Miss Callie. Did you come out of your closet? Won't look at me? Look at me. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're getting close, Callie. You want to get up in the window and watch? Huh? Oh, you can sit on Mama's lap. Want to sit on Mama's lap? Yeah, come up here on my lap. No, you can't go under there. Miss Cowley Cuckoo, where's Daddy, huh? Here comes Daddy. Look who's here, Daddy.
Hi, baby.
Now, as soon as we start moving, she'll go back under. Okay, Bobby is back in this driver's seat. And we're going to go through beautiful downtown Quartzsite. I'll come back on after we turn around. Here we go. To one of the main intersections. Nothing much around. We've got about 60 miles to go to where we used to pull off the road to go down to the RV park that we used to stay in. And look down here to my right. It's Interstate 10, which you could take all the way to Phoenix. You can see through my screen. The distance there is like a truck stop and McDonald's and those kind of places. But see this area to the right and the left of me. Every year, Quartzsite has what you call a big, what would you call that? A big fair?
Flea market.
flea market, something like that. And it is packed up here then. I mean, everything in here is full. And they sell all kinds of, recreational vehicle things, sports things, crafts, all kinds of stuff. And on this area here on the left and the right is usually full of a lot of motorhomes, because this is where the boondocking happens. And for those of you who don't know what boondocking is, that's when you just park your RV and just rough it. I mean, rough it. You don't have any hookups whatsoever. That's not our type of camping. We're really glampers, at least we were. Well, it is 12:30 and we are here. We're in the outskirts of the foothills vicinity of Yuma. Whew. Over here to the right is where we used to get gas when we get into town with our rig. There's an RV spot there. It's $4.19 here. That's a little bit better. So we are going to turn right, go along the frontage road, and we'll get to a certain area. We'll be turning in to go up to the RV park that we'll be staying in. Well, that's actually a resort, but there's RVs in there too. So, hope you've enjoyed our little jaunt, and it's our farewell trek in the motorhome. Put up with my commentaries, which is very nice of you. I try to do